Okay, buckle up, because today we're diving into something that's changing faster than you can say: artificial intelligence, AI, and education. And I know what you might be thinking. Oh, great, robots teaching kids long division.
Right, like something out of a sci-fi movie.
But it's not quite robots and lasers yet. This is about how AI is already changing how we learn right now, today.
Yeah, it's less about replacing teachers and more about giving them superpowers.
Exactly. So to get to the bottom of this, we dove deep into this report, Generative AI in Education, Unlocking a New Era of Learning. It's by Nutra Kumar Manandar, and don't worry, we're going to break it all down in plain English. No jargon allowed.
Promise.
But first things first, what exactly are we talking about when we say generative AI? It's not just AI analyzing data anymore, like telling you what song to listen to next on Spotify.
Right, this is different.
This report really dives into how generative AI is all about creating things. Like, imagine AI that can write a speech in the style of, say, Martin Luther King Jr., or compose music that sounds exactly like Mozart.
It's a bit mind-blowing when you actually stop and think about it. Basically, instead of just analyzing existing data, it's actually generating new stuff, completely original content.
It's like AI went from being the star student to being the teacher's assistant who's actually creating lesson plans.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool and all, but you're probably thinking, so what? How does this actually impact, learning?
Well, and this is what I find really fascinating here. It gets to the heart of some of the biggest problems we've been trying to solve in education forever. We've got students learning at different paces, teachers who are totally overworked, and let's be honest, trying to make learning as engaging as scrolling through TikTok is a losing battle. Generative AI could be the key to personalizing how we learn, taking some of the burden off of teachers, and honestly just making it all way more fun.
You always hear personalized learning, but it's like, how do you actually do that, right? Well, this report says AI might be the answer. Imagine if, instead of getting another worksheet when you're struggling with algebra, you had an AI tutor that walked you through it, but in a way that actually made sense for you.
And it's not just about helping students one-on-one either. Imagine a history class where instead of just reading about ancient Rome, you could actually walk through a 3D model of the Colosseum, recreated by AI, to look exactly how it did back in the day.
Talk about bringing history to life.
Exactly. It's about sparking that love of learning, that curiosity that makes you actually want to dig in and learn more. We've gotten kind of, lost in the worksheets and the lectures sometimes.
It feels like sometimes we forget that learning should be fun. It should be exciting. And the best part is, this isn't just some futuristic dream, This report is packed with real examples of how generative AI is already being used in classrooms.
Oh, absolutely. It's already happening. There are English teachers using AI to generate different versions of a story. So each student gets something at their reading level.
Oh, that's clever. So it's like everyone gets their own personalized textbook.
Exactly. And it's not just about English class either. Think about, physics. Kids can use AI to create 3D models of molecules, or even do a virtual dissection without all the,
Mess.
Yeah, exactly. Without needing all the actual frogs.
Okay, you had me at virtual dissection. That's what's so cool about this. Even subjects that used to be stuck in textbook land can become way more hands-on.
Totally. And here's the thing. You don't need to be a coding whiz to use this stuff. The report actually lists a bunch of tools that are out there right now.
Yeah, like ChatGPT, which is basically like having a super smart writing partner, right? Or Duolingo, they've already got AI baked into their language learning.
Oh, and there are also some really neat platforms designed specifically for education, like MagicSchool.ai. They're creating AI tools that help teachers plan lessons, grade more efficiently, even give personalized feedback.
It's like having a whole staff room of robot helpers. And even stuff like Quizlet and Kahoot, which a lot of people already use, they're adding AI to make studying more, fun.
Right. It's not just about making things easier. It's about making them more engaging. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that this isn't just a fad. This is a fundamental shift in how we think about teaching and learning.
It feels like we're on the verge of something really big. But like with anything new, there are always downsides, right? And the report talks about those too. It doesn't shy away from the challenges.
Of course not, because this is important stuff. We can't just throw AI into schools without thinking about the implications.
Like, how do you make sure students aren't just using it to cheat?
Huge issue. We need to be talking about ethical AI use from day one, making sure kids understand how to use these tools responsibly.
It's like you wouldn't give someone a power tool without showing them how to use it safely, right? And then there's the whole issue of Not every school has the same resources, the same access to technology.
Absolutely. We have to make sure this doesn't widen the gap between, students who have access and those who don't. Equity is crucial.
So we've got this amazing potential, but also these really complex challenges, and it makes you wonder, what happens to the role of teachers in all of this?
It's the question, isn't it? Are we going to have robot teachers? Probably not. But will their roles change?
Oh, for sure. And this report actually gives some pretty solid advice on how to navigate all this.
Yeah, it's not just like doom and gloom or AI is taking over the world. It actually offers solutions.
It does, which I appreciate. It's grounded and practical, which is what we need right now.
It's a lot to process, right? Like, where do you even start?
I know, right? It can feel like you're trying to board a moving train. Totally. But this report, it actually gives some really good advice, and it doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing. They actually recommend starting small. Don't go trying to redesign your whole curriculum around AI overnight.
Exactly. Dip your toes in first. Maybe try incorporating one new tool at a time. See what works for you, what works for your students.
It's like test the waters before you jump in the deep end, right?
Exactly. And the other thing is, we've got to make sure teachers are supported in this. It's a lot to ask them to become AI experts overnight on top of, everything else.
Yeah, like they don't have enough on their plates already.
Right. So professional development, training, all of that is going to be key.
Like with any new skill, you got to learn the ropes before you can teach it, right?
Exactly. And as we go through this process, we can't forget those ethical questions we were talking about. We've got to be having open conversations with students, setting those ground rules early on.
Right, because ultimately AI is a tool, and it's up to us to use it responsibly.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that actually brings us to, I think, one of the most interesting points in the entire report, this idea of personalized learning. Really tailoring the educational experience to each individual student.
Yeah, using AI to actually make that happen, not just talk about it.
Exactly. If we can do that, if we can create these truly personalized learning paths, well, it kind of makes you question the whole traditional model of education, doesn't it?
It totally does. Do we even need everyone learning the same things at the same pace anymore?
Right. It's a really exciting, if slightly terrifying thought.
For sure. And I love that this report doesn't pretend to have all the answers. If anything, it just raises more questions, bigger questions.
Exactly. It gets you thinking about the very nature of learning itself.
And for me, that's what makes this such an important conversation. We're just at the tip of the iceberg here, and it's up to all of us to stay informed, stay curious, and see where this all takes us.
Absolutely. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll all have our own personalized AI tutors guiding us along the way.
And maybe they'll even grade our homework.
A teacher can dream.
That's it for today's deep dive. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to the report and all the cool tools we talked about. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those AI-powered wheels turning.